Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Myself Dr. Anil Teda, working as assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry, JSS Arts, Science and Commerce College Gokak, which is affiliated to Rani Chennamma University, Belagavi, Karnataka, India. Well, we started discussing about soil analysis. So here comes there are various concepts like micronutrients, trace metals, organic matter in soil, determination of pH, determination of nitrogen by alkali permanganate method, and so on. So we started the some discussion regarding some general views on soils. So what is the definition of the soil and how it is important, what are the general approaches for the soil study. So we went for the discussing on classification of nutrients in the soil, like there are framework elements, mineral elements, and so on. Then we started discussing about the significance of the framework elements and primary macronutrients, secondary macronutrients, and so on. So further we started discussing about uh, soil organic matter, that is SOM, how it is important for the growth of the normal growth of the plants or any crops. So now in this video we'll discuss how we determine the pH of the soil. So pH, generally pH reflects soil is acidic, whether the soil is acidic or neutral or basic or alkaline. So this is very important, because if you want to have a normal growth of the plants, so the soil should be neutral, or the ideal pH of the soil is from 5.5 to 8. So this is very important. The acidity or the neutrality or the alkalinity of the soil is measured in terms of hydrogen ion activity of the soil water system. So we have a hydrogen ion activity in the soil water system, so we need to measure the concentration of hydrogen ions or the hydrogen ion activity in the soil water system. So that is measured in terms of pH is equal to minus log of concentration of H plus ions. The pH range normally found in soil varies from 3 to 9. You can see here. So if the soil is acidic, then the nutrients deficiencies and the toxicity, for example iron, Mn and aluminium. So if the soil is highly alkaline, the nutrients deficiencies and the toxicities is usually occur because of the carbonate, HCO3, that is bicarbonate, and aluminum oxide, Al2O4, and solidity. So the ideal pH of the soil is from 5.5 to 8. At this pH the soil gives its at its extreme growth capability. So for this it is very important to determine the a property called the pH of the soil. So we will see what is the principle, apparatus, and what are the chemicals required and the procedure. So here in this determination we need to have a method, that is determination of pH of the soil by using pH meter. So in the apparatus, the first apparatus is pH meter, pipette, beaker and glass rod. The chemicals required are Buper solution. You can see here this is a pH meter, Buper solution, and specifically we have a pH of Buper 4.7 and 9. And next is 0.01 molar calcium chloride solution, distilled water and sample solutions. So these are the required chemicals. So we'll see now procedure. So in the determination of pH of the soil, the first what we need to have is we are using pH meter. So if we want to use the pH meter, we need to standardize it first, or we need to calibrate the pH meter by using standard Buper solutions by of known pH values. One Buper solution is of the pH range is, or the pH is 7, and the other one is in the range of pH of the soil. So first we need to calibrate the pH meter by using a neutral pH, that is pH is equal to 7, the Buper solution pH of pH is equal to 7, and the other one is of pH range is of the in the range of pH of soil. So to calibrate the pH meter, take the pH electrode, that is glass electrode, and immerse in the beaker which containing standard Buper solution of known pH and then adjust the pH of the pH meter. So this is the calibration process of the pH meter. Once we calibrated the pH meter, then we can immerse the same pH electrode, that is what is already calibrated, the machine is calibrated, and then take the pH values. So before we need to prepare the soil sample. So soil sample solution is prepared through the approximate mixing of soil sample, that is 10 gram, and calcium chloride solution, that is 20 ml. The soil pH in calcium chloride is usually prepared as it is less affected by soil electrolyte concentration and provides more consistent measurement. That's what we are using extra reagent, that is calcium chloride solution. So in order to get consistent measurements in every measurement, so we are using it the calcium chloride solution while preparing soil sample solution. And then once you prepare the soil sample solution, allow the soil to absorb calcium chloride solution. Stir with a glass rod. Once we keep it for 30 minutes, then record the pH of the soil and record it in the result. That is, the pH of the given soil sample is, based on the pH we can say the soil is acidic, or the soil is neutral, or soil is alkaline. So we can write the nature of the soil as well in the result. So that is, the pH of the given sample is, let's say for example 7, and the given soil sample is neutral in nature. So this is what the result is. This is very simple. We just need to say the principle, and then we just need to say apparatus, required chemicals. Then in the procedure we have three parts. First part is calibration part, second part is sample preparation, and third part is the pH record part. So this is very simple, and is very important for the examination consult. So this is all about the pH of the soil determination part. And second is determination of nitrogen in soil by alkali permanganate method. So once I say nitrogen, so this nitrogen gas, or the nitrogen which is present in the soil, how it is going to balance it in the nature. So that is, we need to have a look. So nitrogen is balanced through the process of nitrogen fixation and nitrogen denitrification. You can see here in this figure, nitrogen cycle is very important to balance the nitrogen. So in the nitrogen fixation process, nitrogen fixing bacteria, you can see in this figure, this is a nitrogen fixing bacteria which fixes the nitrogen as a ammonia, and then nitrifying bacteria converts this ammonia into oxides of nitrogen. So this plays a very important role, or very vital role, in fixing nitrogen in the soil. So this nitrogen is really essential for the growth of the normal growth, or the growth of the any of the plant or any of the crops. So similarly, the denitrification process is also important, where denitrification bacteria is involved, which in turn converts these oxides of nitrogen to the nitrogen gas. So this is how the nitrogen is balanced in the nature. Well, so our job is to determine how much nitrogen present in the soil. So that is a simple method is known as alkali permanganate method. So here in the apparatus we are using Geldahl's flask, conical flask, burette, pipette. We will see it in detail in the next slide. So chemicals required, as we know here, it's alkaline permanganate means, so we have a permanganate, potassium permanganate, that is KMnO4, and we have alkaline meaning we have NaOH as well. So see here in the chemicals required, KMnO4, sodium hydroxide, boric acid, mixed indicators, that is methyl red and bromocresol green. Next is potassium hydrogen phthalate, 0.1 molar solution, and H2SO4, that is 0.02 molar solution. And then sodium hydroxide is also needed, again 0.01 m solution. So these are the solutions required. So we know now how nitrogen is balanced, we know now how nitrogen is fixed in the soil. So our job is to determine how much percentage of nitrogen is present in the soil by using alkaline permanganate method. So here are the apparatus required for the determination, and here are the chemicals required for the determination part. So as we have seen here the Geldar's flask, and we will see a little bit about the apparatus part. See here, this is a Geldar's flask, so this is required, and this is the conical flask, and here is a Geldar's method, or the Geldar's setup, by which we can determine the nitrogen present in the soil, and this is the titration setup as we know well. Here in the Geldar's flask we need to take a 20 gram of soil sample, and then we have added here 10 ml of H2O distilled water plus 100 ml of potassium permanganate, which is of 0.32%, then plus 3 ml of paraffin liquid we have added in the Geldar's flask. So this mixture, the moment we add to this mixture, that is sodium hydroxide, upon the digestion this mixture gives us ammonia, and this mixture is liberating the ammonia. The liberated ammonia is condensed in the condenser, you can see in this here, and this condensed ammonia is trapped in boric acid, which containing indicator, that is mixed indicator. This is the conical flask, as I already shown here. This is a conical flask containing indicator, boric acid. So here is a conical flask. So this conical flask and the Geldar's flask is connected through the condenser. So we just need to condense the gaseous ammonia to liquid ammonia here, and here it contains a known amount of boric acid and known concentration of boric acid present in the conical flask. Once the ammonia is condensed in this, so this boric acid is converted into ammonium borate. So this is the reaction which is taking place in the conical flask. So here very simple, once we have ammonia in the conical flask, then this is titrated against standard H2SO4 solution or the acid solution to get how much amount of ammonia is liberated from the 20 gram of the soil sample. So we'll see it step by step. So it's very simple. Here Geldar's flask is needed to take all the reagents in this one. The moment we add sodium hydroxide to it, upon the connection, upon the digestion, so ammonia gas is liberated from this flask. This ammonia gas is just because of the presence of the nitrogen in the soil. So upon the liberation of the ammonia, which is liquefied and which is trapped in the boric acid solution in the conical flask, so this is titrated against standard H2SO4 solution to give how much amount of ammonia present in the given soil. So let us see one by one. So first is freshly weigh 20 gram of soil sample in Geldar's flask. To that 10 milliliter of water, and to that again 100 ml of K-monopore, which is of 0.32%, and also add some boiling chips, and then about 3 ml of paraffin liquid. Secondly, a receiver or 250 ml of conical flask is prepared through the addition of mixed indicator and boric acid. So this conical flask and the Geldar's flask is connected through what? Through the water condenser. You can see here, this is the water condenser. Well, after that, to the Geldar's flask add immediately 100 ml of sodium hydroxide solution. The moment we add, immediately the sodium hydroxide solution of that is 2.5%, start digesting process, start heating, then collect the distillate of 100 ml in the conical flask. Once we collect the distillate of 100 ml, that is ammonia or liquefied ammonia in the distillate here, so then remove the conical flask containing distillate, that is the known amount of distillate, and titrated against 0.02 molar H2SO4 solution until the color changes from colorless to pink. You can see here. So once we start the titration, so we need to we need to titrate it until the colorless to pale pink. So then this is all about the procedure. Then we will see little there are three more points in the calculation where the value of the acid used to neutralize ammonia, which is liberated during the digestion in the soil sample, is equal to A minus B in terms of milliliter. A means main titration, as we know that. So main titration, what is main titration and blank titration? Main titration is 1, the value of the acid which is used to neutralize ammonia in the presence of distillate, that is in the presence of ammonia which is liberated during the digestion process. So in the blank titration, value of the acid which is used to neutralize ammonia in the absence of distillate. So that is A minus B, which gives us how much amount of acid which is used to neutralize ammonia present in the soil sample. That's what it is, A minus B. So nitrogen content in the test sample is equal to A minus B into conversion factor. Then percentage of the nitrogen is equal to A minus B into conversion factor into pi u, because we took 20 gram, so it is 100 divided by 5 is equal to 20. That's what it is, 5. So in the result we just need to say percentage of the nitrogen present in the soil is equal to dash 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 percentage. This is a very simple procedure. So it is nothing is there here. We have two flask here. One is Geldar's flask where we are adding all the reagents to liberate ammonia upon the immediate addition of sodium hydroxide. So once we release ammonia, or once we release nitrogen as ammonia from this Geldar's flask, and that should be condensed in the condenser. Once we condensed or liquefied ammonia is trapped in the boric acid. So this is ammonium borate is titrated against standard H2SO4 solution. So once you did this one, so nothing is there, we just need to write point by point. So here are the points. First we have a Geldar flask, we have a receiver or the conical flask. We just connected both of them through the condenser, and once you connected this one and then start digestion process upon the addition of immediate addition of sodium hydroxide solution. The moment we add sodium hydroxide solution, ammonia is liberated. That ammonia is liquefied and trapped in the boric acid solution, and then the trapped ammonia in terms of ammonium borate is titrated against 0.02 m H2SO4 solution. So finally we have like 3 points in the calculations. So we have two types of titration, main titration and blank titration. We just subtract both the readings, both the burette readings, and then we will get a nitrogen content in the test sample in terms of percentage. So in this video we have discussed two things. One is the determination of pH of the soil using pH meter method, and second one is determination of nitrogen in a soil by alkali permanganate method. So these two methods are very important according to your syllabus and as far as the main exam consult. So if you have any questions regarding these two methods, please comment in the comment box, or you can call me anytime. I will just clarify you all. Thank you. We will see in the next class. So determination of phosphorus by two methods, we will see that in detail in the next video. Thank you.